So we have a related rates problem here, and it involves triangles, so we're going to have to use trig. So we're trying to figure out what theta is after moving 30 feet at 3 feet per second. First, to figure out what theta is, we have to figure out what phi is. And for phi, we have its opposite and adjacent. So that would be the tangent of phi would then be equal to 3 over x. Now we just want to get phi all by itself, so the phi would just equal the inverse tangent of 3 over x. Next, we need to find the angle, the sum of the two angles, and we have their opposite and adjacent, so it would also be a tangent of the sum of the two angles, which would equal 10 over x. That's a 10. Pretend it's 10. So, to get 2 theta, we have to get it by itself. The first step is to take the inverse tangent of 10 over x. Then, we already know what phi is. Phi is just the inverse tangent of 3 over x. So we just plug that in. Now, to get theta all by itself, we just subtract away the inverse tangent of 3 over x. Now, we don't really like the variable to be in the denominator, so what we can do is just change it from the inverse tangent to the inverse cotangent. That'll change it to x over 10 and x over 3. Now, we actually have our variable in the numerator instead. So to take theta's derivative, which is what we need to do, we have to take its derivative with respect to time. So the derivative of the inverse cotangent is equal to the negative 1 over x squared plus 1 times, because the chain rule, the derivative of the internal function, which is 10 x prime over 100 minus the derivative of the inverse cotangent, which is also a negative 1 over x squared plus 1, and with chain rule, the derivative of the internal function, which will be 3x prime over 9. So next step would be to simplify this down to negative 10x prime over x squared plus 100 plus 3x prime over x squared plus 9. Now, from the actual question, it gave us what x prime is and what x equals. So x equals 30, and x prime is equal to 3. Now, since we simplified all the way down that way, as far as we can go, we need to just plug them in. So we get negative 10 times 3 over 30 squared plus 100 plus 3 times 3 over 30 squared plus 9. So we get 30 over 1,000 plus 9 over 909. And when we plug that into our calculator, we get a negative 0.0201. This will be in radians per second. So our angle is changing at negative 0.0201 rads per second.